Today in our lesson, we're going to look at how to solve and write systems of linear inequalities. This is going to be very similar to just a single linear inequality, and so you're not going to feel that there's a lot of difference. So please set up your notebook and make sure you have your essential question written down. How do you solve and write systems of linear inequalities? Now you have a few graphs to look at. The first problem, or the first system I want us to look at, is y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 1, and y is less than negative x plus 4. Okay, so just like always, just like we did before, we're going to graph each of those inequalities, but we're going to graph them on the same coordinate plane. So in the first inequality, our y-intercept is 1. Our slope is 2, so up 2, right 1. We should already know that. That shouldn't be anything new. Remember, we have to decide if we're going to do a solid or dotted line. This has equal to, so we're going to do a solid line. Y is greater, so we're going to shade all where the y's are greater, so it's going to be shaded up above the line. And so there's our first inequality. The second inequality has a y-intercept of 4 and a slope of negative 1. So down 1, right 1. It is less than, there's no equal to this time, so we're going to do a dotted line. And it's less than, so we're going to shade below the line. Okay, so it's kind of fun to use different colors on that. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, so where in the world is the solution? Well, I hope that it's obvious to you that the solutions to this system are where the shading overlaps. And in fact, when you see examples of these, a lot of times the only part they show you is where the shading overlaps. So let me zoom in just a little bit so maybe we can see that a little bit better. Okay, so a lot of times they won't show you those two areas. They'll only show you the solution area, or if they're asking you to match a system to the graph. So basically anything in this overlap shaded area would be a solution. We could include points here on the line in this case, but obviously nothing over here. So anything like that would be a possible solution. So possible solutions to this one might be negative 2, 2, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, 3. All of those would be possible solutions, and there's an endless possibility for that. We could always check each of these solutions by plugging them back in to both inequalities and seeing if it made them true. Okay, let's look at the next one. Gotta move my paper up. Okay, so on the next one, we're going to look at x is less than 8. And x minus 4y is less than or equal to negative 8. Okay, so to start out, x is less than 8. I'm going to go where x is 8. Let's see, that's 10, 9, 8. It doesn't have an equal to, so it's dotted. And we would shade to the left because it's less than. Okay, now on the second one, it's in standard form right now. It is not in slope-intercept form. So we need to take a minute and put this in slope-intercept form. So I subtracted x. Now I'm going to divide everything by negative 4. And because we divided by a negative, I have to flip the inequality symbol. Remember, this right here would be 1/4 x plus 2. Okay, that sometimes those are a little bit tricky for us. So here we have a y-intercept of 2, a slope of 1/4. Okay, I've got an equal to, so I am going to do a solid line. It says y is greater than, so I'm going to shade above the line. But again, the solution area is only where the shading overlaps. In this case, we could also include points on the line, but not points on the dotted line, only our solid line. Okay, the last example. I've actually already graphed it for you, so I'm going to zoom in on it, and I want you to take a minute and draw your graph so that it looks like mine. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to write the system. And it doesn't matter which line you start with. Let's start with our dotted line here. If it's a vertical line and going through the x-axis, we know it's an x line. So this would be x, and it's going through 3. So now the next thing we need to think about is where is the shading according to the vertical line. So the shading here, you see this is the pink that goes with that line. So that is showing less than, and then do we put equal to? And the answer would be no, because it's a dotted line. Okay, and let's look at our diagonal line now. Our y-intercept is 3. Can't see that. I need to zoom out. Hold on. And then our slope, you know to do this. Our slope is 2/3, so 2/3 x. Okay, so now we need to decide what kind of inequality symbol is. So if you look at it, where is the shading according to the diagonal line? And you'll see that it's down below it. So it's less than, and then do we do an equal to? And the answer is yes, because it's a solid line. So very similar to what we've already done, we just have multiple inequalities that we have to include.